Okay, I think we got it. This is my third time trying to start this. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to class. Welcome to our first week of Communications 105. This is Interpersonal Communications. I'm Professor Sweeter, and I thought I'd take a little time today to do a few things, to give you a face to the name, to show you that I am a real person on the other end of the computer screen, to address some of the questions that I've already received this week, and just to give you a little bit of an overview to the course and to some of the resources that we will be using. So I thank you for taking the time to watch this video. My goal is to be sending you videos on a pretty regular basis, and also to use a similar platform for video conferencing with you. All right, so let's talk about this first week. Well, first week of classes is always a little bit challenging, always a little bit frenetic. I hope your first week went well. I imagine most of you are taking classes online. I do have one on-ground class, so I am on campus one day a week now, which was a little bit surreal, but we got through it. So with this particular class, this is a fully online class. This is also an asynchronous class. Asynchronous meaning that we don't meet at specific times. You do the work independently, and then you check in with me as needed. And I have office hours I'll tell you more about in a little bit. This is also a 15-week class, which is a little bit different from some of the other classes that you might have taken online before. Typically, Goodwin runs a half module or 7.5-week classes, and those are great, and they help you get through the curriculum really, really quickly, but they can be very overwhelming. So a couple semesters ago, we decided to try this new format, which is a 15-week online class. So you and I are meeting as a class starting this week in September, and we'll continue working and meeting and collaborating with each other all the way through December in the end of the semester. So expect that, you know, it's going to just be a long haul with online work with this class. What else can I tell you about this class? Well, interpersonal communications, we spend a lot of time discussing relationships and how people communicate effectively and ineffectively in those relationships. Over the course of the semester, we'll talk about the basics of communication, what communication is, what it means. This week, of course, you're focusing on the 5 principles of communication. And then from there, you'll get into some of your cultural personalities and some of your cultural experiences and how those shape your communication. Look at your motivations and your goals as a communicator. And then we'll look at specific examples of your communication styles with family members, with romantic partners, with work relationships, with conflicts, and how you can use your communication effectively in those different contexts. All right. So what I'd like to do is take a little bit of time and go through and show you a couple things in Blackboard. I'm also going to show you our syllabus and highlight a few things for you. I'd like to talk a little bit about the textbook and MindTap. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about how you and I can connect different technologies that we can use. All right, so first things first, let's take a look at our syllabus. And whoops, there's our syllabus right there. Please, if you haven't yet, make sure that you download it and that you print it off. It's good to have a hard copy, okay? So here you go. Here's the basic information. Again, this is COM 105, your section 05. This is a 3-credit class, and we are doing 15 weeks in an online format. Right below that in the blue is just information about how to reach me. I've also listed my office hours here for you. Oops, where's my mouse? I've also listed my office hours here for you. And I will come back to that in a little bit, but please know that those are times that I'm available online in a live face-to-face format. I am also available by appointment because I realize not everyone is available during those times that I'm available. You can also contact me by text messaging, email, or phone, and I've listed my phone number and my email right there. And most of you have already been signed up for text messaging. And if you have not yet, please reach out to me, or expect that I'll be reaching out to you to make sure that you are signed up. Okay, so this is our first page. I'm just going to zip through it again. A little bit of information about the course and the description. These are our course goals to provide students with the skills necessary to communicate effectively. And again, this is generally across different contexts and different relationships. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further. And on the second page, you can read information about the format of our course. You can see information about the grading breakdown. A little bit further down here is a grading policy. You've got 40% weekly assignments. You've got discussion boards of 20%, and then 2 projects, the midterm and the final. And I'm going to take a second just to highlight those 2 projects for you. With the midterm, I do want to let you know that it is a speech. You will be preparing and delivering a speech on any topic lasting about 6 to 8 minutes. And I know a lot of times people go, "Oh no, not a speech," but the reality is it's not that bad, and I'll do my best to facilitate as much as possible for you. The final project is actually a paper, and of course we won't be looking at this for at least another month and a half because we're focusing on the midterm first, but that'll be a paper on any aspect of communications that you find interesting. It'll be an opportunity for you to delve a little bit deeper into some of the topics we use. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further, and this brings us to our course outline and class schedule. And in my mind, when I think about the syllabus, I think this is the most important part of the syllabus because it talks about the assignments that you're responsible for. So you can see right now, today is September 11th. It is Friday, and we are in the middle of week 1. So that opened up on Monday the 7th. It'll last until Sunday the 13th. And during that week, you're focusing on the course introduction, and you're focusing on these assignments right here. All right. Next week, week 2 begins with Monday. And this is typical. All Blackboard weeks will start on Monday, and then they will close on Sunday. And you'll be responsible for those assignments during that week. And in just a moment, I'll jump into Blackboard, and you'll be able to see how I've set up a calendar for you as well. So I've done my best to set up the entire semester. You can see all of the assignments for the semester. A lot of due dates are in there. Here's your midterm project outline, October 18th. Just to give you a heads up, so you're thinking about it, midterm presentation is October 29th and November 1st. And we go all the way through to the end of the semester where your final is due on December 17th. All right, so I've done my best there to really set this up and to be cognizant of Thanksgiving and other activities and just the amount of time that we have to work on things. I think you'll find that, yes, it's an online class, but we're looking at things with a very easy, even pace. You're not going to be as stressed in a 15-week online class as you might normally be in a 7.5-week online class. Not to say that those are bad, but there's a difference. All right, scrolling down a little bit further, page 5 just has policies. I do want to encourage you to pay attention to the late work policy. Right here, projects and assignments are due on their deadlines, and I do take off points. So the information is right there. The good news is, though, I will accept late work throughout the entire semester, and you have until Friday, December 18th to submit late work for me. Not that I'm encouraging it, but you get it. A little bit further is information about APA and written work. And as we move through the semester, we'll have opportunities to talk more and more about APA. Wouldn't you know it, guys, as soon as I sit down to do a video, that's when the fire trucks go by, the garbage truck, my cell phone. It's been quiet all morning. All right, so that is the syllabus for you. If you have any questions about it, the last page here is all about social distancing and face covering, which really doesn't apply to us as an online class, but it's good information to have in case you do have to go on ground. All right, so there is our syllabus. All right, what else can I show you? Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about Blackboard. So what I'm going to do now is give you a quick tour of our Blackboard page. Now with Blackboard, I encourage you please to explore, to look around, to explore, to learn as much as you can about it. I promise you, you cannot mess things up in Blackboard. I can, you can't. So please look around. This first page that you're looking at is our welcome page with announcements. And so every announcement that I post throughout the course of the semester will appear here, and they are archived, so you can go back and read them throughout the entire semester. All right. This video and information about my office hours will appear in this space, quite honestly, after I'm done recording it. On the left-hand side of the page here is a navigation pane for you, and this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time in Blackboard. Announcements is the page we're looking at now. Syllabus is where you can download the syllabus, and also it's a good place to connect with my my contact information, and I'll be posting the link for my office hours there as well. Weekly units is where you spend most of your work. Course introduction is the first week folder, and you don't see them yet, but folders 2 through 15 are hidden, and they will appear for you every Monday. We'll come back here in a minute to look at MindTap. Next, I'd like to bring you to discussion boards. Discussion boards, I noticed a lot of you are already participating in them. You do have weekly discussion boards, and they are all listed right there. Please remember that they're time sensitive. So while everything is open right now, you really should be only focusing on the week that we're in. And once that week is passed, that week is over. You cannot post any longer. Below that is course projects. Here's information about the midterm. We'll be talking about that in about 2 more weeks. And again, hidden down here is the final, which we'll see later on this semester. I'd like to show you now the calendar. The calendar is super helpful. I have gone through and put in all of our due dates for this entire semester. And so I'm going to turn your due dates on just a second here. But what happens is you can go in and you can look at the calendar and you can see exactly when everything is due, and it's super helpful. You can see I've got quite a few classes there. All right, so right now we are looking at the September calendar, and you can see due dates. They're listed right there, and I've gone ahead and done that for the entire semester. Here's the midterm stuff right there. And you can see that most of your assignments are due on Sundays. And then there's the final right there. All right, so make sure that you pay attention to your calendar. Scrolling down a little bit further, you've got some other links here: APA, Goodwin Library, student resources for online coursework, and institutional racism and systemic injustice. Those are different resources that we've come up with in the past year, and that's to help really facilitate your education here at Goodwin. APA and library is pretty self-explanatory. If you need to use APA formatting, or if you need help doing some research, you have those 2 links there. And they're external links. They will bring you outside of Blackboard. Student resources for online coursework. Again, online is just a completely different ballpark. So if you find that you need a little bit more support with online coursework, this will bring you to information about how to be effective online, and also to tutoring resources. And then finally, this last link, institutional racism and systemic injustice. Quite simply, we're in a place now in our country where there's a lot of conversation about injustices in our society. And so Goodwin has done its part to respond to that as well. And that's what that link will bring you to. The last one here, my grades, is pretty simple. It is your grades. And I click there for a second, and you can see you've got, again, all of the assignments that are listed for the class with the due dates. You can view rubrics in some cases, and in some cases you can see the assignment itself. All right, and then as grades appear, they'll appear right there. Okay, so that is Blackboard. What I'd like to do for a second is go back to weekly units and remind you about this MindTap link. All right, so MindTap is the textbook that we use for this particular class. All right, and that's a little bit confusing. The name of the textbook is Interconnections. MindTap is a product that we use in conjunction with that textbook. Okay, so yes, you have Blackboard, and a lot of your assignments are in Blackboard, but most of your assignments are going to appear in MindTap, this electronic platform that complements your textbook. So when you bought your textbook, or if you haven't yet, you had a couple different options to choose from. I'd like to take a minute and share those options with you so you can see exactly what the difference is between them. And I can't find the page. There it is. The differences between them and maybe to help you make a better choice. So the page you should be looking at right now is which textbook should I purchase? This is a picture of the textbook right here on the right, Interconnections by Bowman. And here is the information about it. Now, I'm going to say this as gracefully as I can because there's certain things that I cannot say. With this particular textbook, you need to have two things. You need to have at least a copy of the text, whether it's digital or print, and you need to have access to course materials in MindTap. Textbooks are expensive. I get that. I'm a grad student myself. I've paid a lot of money for textbooks in the past 4 years. Textbooks are expensive. I get that. So what happens a lot of times is you and I both want to find the cheapest version possible. With this particular textbook, I do want to let you know, you cannot purchase it from anywhere else except for the Goodwin School bookstore or Cengage.com right there. Okay, I know it's tempting to go to Chegg or Amazon or any other textbook resource, but you really cannot purchase this book anywhere else because quite honestly, if you don't, you will not have access to MindTap. And that's the key thing that you need there. At least once a semester, I see a student who's purchased it and they got a great price and they bought it somewhere else. And then they realize after a few weeks, oh shoot, I can't access any of the assignments I need to. And then they had to go back and purchase it anyway. So please take my word for it. You can only purchase using either Cengage.com or the Goodwin Student Bookstore. Now, this is where I have to be really careful about what I say. All right. Here are the costs to purchase this text on Cengage.com. I'm going to say it again. Here are the costs on Cengage.com. And I'm going to really emphasize how much it costs on Cengage.com because there they are right there for you. Now, each of these products are also available in the Goodwin bookstore. Between the lines, guys. But this is the cost on Cengage.com. So my recommendation to you is to go to Cengage.com, pick the version you need, and purchase it there. I think you'll be happy if you do some price comparisons. We'll just leave it there. So you've got a couple options here. Most of you are going to be choosing between option 1 or 2. And some of you will be choosing with option 3. Option 1 is a digital version of the textbook. So you will be reading the textbook online. And then you have all the course materials in MindTap. And that's $50. Option 2 includes the digital version, but it also has your choice of either a loose leaf or a hard copy of the textbook. This is a popular one for those of you who really, you like to have paper, you like to have something that you can highlight and you can like manipulate as you're reading through the textbook. So I'm going to guess most of you are either here with the digital platform or here with the digital platform in print. Those of you who are taking other classes that also use Cengage products like MindTap, you might want Cengage Unlimited. In particular, if you're doing a CAP 110 class or a Psych 112 class, you might want Cengage Unlimited. But the reality is most of you are not going to be in multiple classes that use Cengage products. Okay, so this sheet is available to you. I will post it in announcements so that you can look at it again and you can decide which option you need. But again, I cannot say this enough. I encourage you to visit Cengage.com. Okay, it in some instances makes a difference of about $40 to $50. All right, let's go back now to Blackboard and show you what you're going to be looking at with MindTap. Now, first of all, depending on where you purchase the textbook from, whether it's from Blackboard, or rather from Cengage, or rather from the school bookstore, you're going to be registering your access code the same place. You must access and register your access code through Blackboard. Please do not do it through Cengage, because what will happen is Cengage will ask you for a course key, and it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a course key. So please make sure that you are registering for MindTap using Blackboard. When you're ready to, you're going to click on weekly units. You're going to click right here to access MindTap. And when I click this in a second, I'm already registered for MindTap, so you're going to see a little bit different. But essentially what's going to happen is it's going to bring you to a registration page, and you'll have to input your email address and create an account. Then it'll bring you to another page when you can access your, or rather enter your access code. And then when you're all set with that, it'll tell you that you have a 7 to 14 day free trial of Cengage Unlimited. Everyone gets it, whether you've purchased the book or not. And then finally, it'll bring you to MindTap. Now, MindTap, again, this is a product. It is put out by Cengage. MindTap is the product that we're using, and it's in conjunction with the textbook. You'll notice it came up as a separate pop-up, so you want to make sure when you are registering and when you are using MindTap that you've enabled pop-ups. Your page in MindTap is a little bit different from mine, and I apologize, I can't show you a student view of MindTap. I do understand, though, that there's a lot of navy blue over here on the side, and that you do a lot of navigating through there. So it does look a lot like Blackboard. But this essentially is your dashboard, and you can see, if I click expand all, you can see different assignments that you are responsible for. And I can see that you guys are already in here and working and getting stuff done. So chapter 1, getting started, first person video activity, chapter 1 quiz. These are all assignments that you'll be responsible for as you complete chapter 1. Right now, we're not technically in the textbook yet. We'll be starting chapter 1 next week, but I can see already that several of you have jumped in and you started working on it, which is great. It's good to get ahead with things. And as we scroll down, I'll close chapter 1 for a second. Chapter 2 is right there. Chapter 3 is right there, and you can move through the entire course right here in MindTap. Okay, and just so you're aware, most of the assignments that you will be doing are here in MindTap. You can also find them in Blackboard. If I go back to a weekly unit here and scroll down, you'll see activities and assignments. And so there's some things listed here in Blackboard, and there's some things listed in, whoops, going back for a second, back here in MindTap. All of this information, though, all these assignments are definitely listed in the syllabus, and they're all listed in that calendar that I showed you a little while ago too. Okay, so hopefully you're able to navigate it pretty well. Again, with Blackboard and MindTap, just practice, just click around, just check things out. You can't mess stuff up. I can mess stuff up. I'm going to try not to, but you can't mess stuff up. All right. I do also want to let you know that with MindTap in particular, I know that you're buying a textbook. It's a little bit pricey. So please remember that you do have at least a 7-day trial of Cengage and MindTap when you register. And that might be helpful for those of you who need to wait, you know, another week until payday, until the 15th. Whatever you have to do to purchase the textbook. I'd much rather that you wait and then purchase the right textbook later than it would be to purchase the wrong textbook and then have to repurchase the textbook. All right. And if you have questions about that, if you're still not sure, if you're still on the fence about what book you need or how to access it, please, by all means, reach out to me. Let me know. All right. The last thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is how to contact me. First of all, I mentioned earlier that I have a text messaging program. So I use the Remind app, and I will be using that from time to time to send you text messages. Those of you with school-age kids, a lot of schools in the area use it too. So just so you're aware, sometimes it might be your kids' teachers texting you. Sometimes it might be me texting you. What's nice about this particular system is you don't need to download an app. In fact, I recommend that you do not download the app. because it's just going to be more confusing for you in the long run, and you'll get messages in duplicate and triplicate. So please don't download the app, but when you do get a message from me, be sure to save me in your contacts so that you know it's me next time. What's also nice about Remind is I can send you group messages or I can send you individual messages, and then you can message me individually. So when you text me back, it's going to me alone. None of your classmates can see it. Okay, so that's one option of reaching me. Finally, the last thing that we need to talk about is office hours. I do hold office hours. Now, in a normal situation, I'd be on campus and I'd have 6 hours of office hours on campus, and I'd encourage you to come in and talk to me. We're not there right now. So instead, I will be holding virtual office hours. I am recording this right now in Zoom, and I'm doing my best to set up our office hours in Zoom as well. Some of you might have noticed in the past few days, I've been playing with Microsoft Teams, and I tried to create a team, and then I realized that Zoom's better. So please disregard anything that you've seen in the past few days with Microsoft Teams. I'm certain that you've seen a few things in your email. Just disregard that. Instead, you and I are going to be using Zoom. Hopefully it'll work for us. Hopefully it won't cut us off after 42 minutes. We'll see. If it does, we'll work with it. My office hours are going to be Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. till 12 noon. Step back for a second. Mondays and Tuesdays, sorry about that. Mondays and Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and Wednesday nights from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. Simply put, I have a 2.5-year-old, and I need to hold office hours when she's either at daycare or when she is sleeping. And what I will post for you guys is a dedicated link for you to join me in office hours. Just because I'm sitting here in front of the computer does not mean you have to be there in office hours. Doesn't mean that you have to join the meeting or the Zoom link all the time. It's just there for you if you need it. And as I mentioned earlier, I am also available by appointment. Just shoot me a text message or an email and we'll set something up. So a lot of information in a short amount of time. I appreciate you bearing with me and watching this video. I do this mostly because I just know you have questions, and these are important things, and they will help you be successful this semester. So thank you again for joining me. It's good to meet all of you. I'm looking forward to a great semester and some really interesting discussion about interpersonal communications. Thanks, everyone.